Imagine the summer of 480 BCE, when the fate of Western civilization hung by a thread as a colossal Persian army marched toward Greece, intent on conquest and revenge. This is the story of two battles that changed history forever, a desperate last stand and a naval triumph that ultimately saved the entire Greek world. King Xerxes I of Persia stood at the helm of the largest invasion force the ancient world had ever seen, commanding his vast empire. His father, Darius, had been humiliated at Marathon a decade earlier, and now Xerxes would finish what his father started with the full might of his empire. The numbers were truly staggering, as ancient sources speak of millions, though modern historians estimate between 100,000 and 300,000 soldiers marching. A colossal fleet of perhaps 600 warships accompanied them across the sea, representing the largest naval force Greece had ever confronted, a truly daunting sight. The Greeks knew they were coming as scouts brought word of the massive Persian army crossing the Hellespont on an incredible bridge of boats. Panic swept through the Greek city-states, wondering how a divided Greece could possibly stand against the greatest empire on earth, as many cities prepared to surrender without a fight. But Sparta would not bow, as King Leonidas, a warrior in his 50s, understood completely what was truly at stake for all of Greece. If Persia won, Greek independence would vanish, democracy and philosophy would be extinguished, so someone had to make a stand, and Leonidas knew exactly where. Thermopylae, known as the Hot Gates, is a narrow coastal pass between the towering mountains and the sea, barely wide enough for a single cart. Here, the overwhelming Persian numbers would mean nothing. A small force of disciplined warriors could indeed hold back an empire, buying Greece the time it desperately needed. Leonidas marched north with just 300 Spartan warriors, all of them fathers with living sons, as religious festivals delayed the main Spartan force. However, these 300 were joined by about 7,000 brave allies from other Greek cities, and together they would face the impending Persian storm as one united front. The Greeks fortified the pass and waited for the enemy, and when King Xerxes arrived, he simply could not believe his own eyes at the sight. Xerxes sent an envoy demanding their surrender, but Leonidas replied with two words that echo through history: Mol and Lab, come and take them. Xerxes waited 4 days, expecting the Greeks to flee, but they bravely held their ground. On the 5th day, he finally ordered the attack. Wave after wave of Persian infantry crashed against the formidable Greek phalanx, as the narrow pass negated Persian numbers, while Greek armor and discipline held firm against their assault. Day 2 brought the immortals, Xerxes' elite guard, 10,000 strong, with many expecting these legendary warriors to finally break the resilient Greeks. However, even the mighty immortals couldn't penetrate the impenetrable wall of bronze shields and iron spears, as the Greeks fought in rotating shifts, constantly reinforcing their unyielding line. Then betrayal struck when a local shepherd named Ephialtes came to Xerxes with devastating news. There was indeed a mountain path around the pass. For a rich reward, he would guide Persian troops through the darkness. So Xerxes immediately dispatched his best warriors, and the deadly trap was closing around Leonidas. At dawn on the 3rd day, Greek scouts brought terrible news. The Persians were indeed coming from behind, and the brave allied Greeks were now completely trapped. Leonidas made a fateful decision, ordering most allies to retreat and save themselves, while the Spartans would bravely stay, and about 1,500 warriors volunteered to die alongside them. They knew what was coming, so Spartans calmly combed their long hair, preparing for death with a serene, ancient ceremony, accepting their ultimate fate with dignity. When a Greek soldier warned that Persian arrows would blot out the sun, a Spartan warrior laughed, saying they would fight bravely in the shade, embracing their fate. The final battle was brutal and desperate. Surrounded on all sides, the Greeks fought ferociously with spears until they shattered, then with swords until they broke. Leonidas fell early, and the fight for his body became a legend, as twice the brave Spartans drove the Persians back to heroically recover their fallen king. By afternoon, it was tragically over. The last brave defenders fell on a small hill, buried under a relentless storm of countless Persian arrows, their sacrifice complete. Xerxes had won, but at enormous cost, as thousands of his best soldiers lay dead for a mere 3-day delay, a delay that truly changed everything. While Leonidas bought time with blood, an astute Athenian politician named Themistocles was actively orchestrating Greece's very survival from afar. He had convinced Athens to invest in a massive fleet of triremes, fast and maneuverable warships, and now he prepared to gamble everything on a single decisive naval battle. The Persians burned Athens to the ground, as its evacuated citizens watched their beloved city tragically go up in smoke and flames from nearby islands. The Greek fleet of about 370 ships faced Xerxes' immense navy of perhaps 600 vessels, and outnumbered, many captains were demoralized, wanting to retreat to the Peloponnesian Peninsula. Themistocles saw what others couldn't. The massive Persian fleet was actually too large for its own good, making it vulnerable to a clever strategy. In open water, Persian numbers would crush the Greeks, but in the narrow straits near Salamis Island, their advantage would become a fatal weakness if he could lure them into this trap. Themistocles sent a secret message to Xerxes, cleverly pretending to betray the Greeks, claiming their fleet was about to scatter in utter panic. The message promised if Xerxes attacked immediately in the Salamis Straits, he could destroy them completely, which was exactly what Xerxes wanted to hear, and he ultimately took the bait. At dawn, the colossal Persian fleet confidently entered the narrow straits, with King Xerxes himself watching from a golden throne on the shore. He expected to witness his navy's glorious triumph, but instead he was about to see a disaster as the Greek ships waited, positioned perfectly, ready to use geography as their greatest ally. The battle erupted with shocking violence in the confined waters, where the massive Persian fleet quickly became a chaotic tangle of hopelessly entangled ships. They couldn't maneuver, couldn't coordinate, and couldn't bring their numbers to bear. Meanwhile, the agile Greek triremes struck like hunting wolves, ramming Persian hulls with devastating bronze rams. Persian ships collided with each other, trying desperately to escape, as Greek marines boarded crippled vessels, fiercely slaughtering their overwhelmed crews, making the water red with blood. King Xerxes watched in growing horror as his supposedly invincible navy disintegrated before his very eyes, realizing the ingenious trap had worked perfectly, with no escape. By late afternoon, the once mighty Persian fleet was utterly shattered. Over 200 Persian ships were destroyed or captured, while the Greeks lost only about 40 vessels. It was a catastrophic defeat, and Xerxes knew immediately what it truly meant. Without naval superiority, he simply couldn't supply his massive army effectively in hostile Greece. The king made a stunning decision. He would strategically withdraw most of his massive army back to Persia, acknowledging the immense loss and consequences. He left behind a substantial force under General Mardonius to continue the campaign, but the invasion's momentum was broken, as the victorious navy had been destroyed in a single day. The following year, the remaining Persian army was crushed at Plataea, and the war turned decisively in Greece's favor, ensuring their hard-won freedom. However, it was Salamis that made everything possible. The naval victory Themistocles engineered became the true turning point when Greek survival became completely achievable. Thermopylae and Salamis were truly two sides of the same coin. Leonidas and his brave warriors bought Greece precious time with their ultimate sacrifice. Themistocles brilliantly used that invaluable time to position the Greek fleet for a pivotal battle that would save Western civilization, as both victories were equally essential. The legacy endures today, as democratic ideals survived because Greece remained free, and philosophy, drama, science, and art flourished due to their victory. In 480 BCE, a few thousand brave warriors at a narrow pass and a brilliant strategy in narrow straits preserved a way of life that still profoundly shapes our world today.